Look at your hands. Open your palms and look at them. Do you see calluses? If you do, I have bad news. Those calluses are not your medals. They are your chains. Now look at your calendar. What did you do this month? What did you do last month? What did you do last year? If the answer is always the same, I worked, I pushed, I grinded, but I am still in the same place. Then I need to tell you something that will hurt. You have been lied to your entire life. A beautiful, noble, poisonous lie. Before you could even walk, they told you, keep your head down, work harder, suffer a little more, and the world will hand you a crown. That was the lie. The world does not reward the man who carries the heaviest stone. It rewards the man who owns the quarry. The hardest workers in history were not kings. They were slaves. They were the ones who built the pyramids, not the ones who were buried inside them with gold and eternity. And right now, today, at this very moment, you are building a monument to someone else's glory with your own sweat, your own years, your own irreplaceable life. You feel it, don't you? That silent rage, that gnawing suspicion that the game is rigged. It is rigged, but Niccolo Hervey Cleckley knew how to rig it back. He knew that power is not generated by friction. It is generated by leverage. So stop working, start listening. Because everything you think is a virtue is actually a cage, and I am going to hand you the key. But first, you need to understand something about your energy that no one has ever told you. Society has convinced you that your energy is cheap, that it is a renewable resource you should pour out freely upon the altar of your job, your relationships, your side hustles, your boss's incompetence. They tell you to leave it all on the field, give 110%. But here is the question no one asks. Who owns the field? When you leave it all on the field, you go home with nothing. You go home empty, a hollowed out shell. You have nothing left for your own mind, nothing left to plot your escape, nothing left to observe the terrain. And this is not an accident. This is architecture. A tired man is a safe man. A tired population does not revolt. They do not question the interest rates. They do not question the laws. They do not look at the hierarchy and ask, why am I at the bottom? They are too busy surviving the week to question the decade. This is by design. Your exhaustion is someone else's security system. Hervey Cleckley understood this better than anyone. He wrote that the prince, the ruler, must always maintain a reserve of force. If the prince is exhausted, he makes mistakes. If he is frantic, he becomes predictable. And predictable men are dead men in the game of power. Now think about the most powerful person you know, or the wealthiest. Are they rushing? Are they sweating? Are they panicked about a Monday morning deadline? No, they move slowly. They speak softly. They have leisure. And here is the part that will disturb you. Leisure is not a luxury. Leisure is a weapon. Strategy is born in silence. It is born in the quiet hours when ordinary men are sleeping off their exhaustion. When you're grinding, your head is down. You're staring at the dirt. You cannot see the knife coming for your back. You cannot see the opportunity on the horizon. You cannot see anything except the next task, the next order, the next brick to carry, the hustle culture you see on social media, the 4 a.m. wake-up calls, the glorification of burnout. It is propaganda. It is the gladiator convincing the other gladiators that dying in the arena is glorious. It keeps the show running for the emperor in the luxury box. And you are the show. You must begin to hoard your energy like gold. Every single ounce of effort you spend must have a calculated return on investment. If you are working hard just to maintain your current position, you are not working. You are being farmed. Someone is harvesting your effort and depositing the profit into their account. Hard work without leverage is a slow, quiet, respectable form of suicide. And the gravestone reads, "He gave everything. He got nothing." Now I need you to answer a question honestly. Why do you feel guilty when you sit still? Why does a Sunday afternoon of doing nothing feel like a crime? Why does your body tense up when there's no task in front of you? Because you have been programmed. You have been indoctrinated into a morality that equates suffering with goodness. You believe that if it hurts, it must be working. You believe that if you are sacrificing your sleep, your health, your sanity, your relationships, you're being noble. You wear your pain like a badge. But it is not a badge. It is a brand, the kind they burn into cattle. This is what Nietzsche called slave morality, and Hervey Cleckley observed it centuries before Nietzsche gave it a name. In the ancient world, in the Renaissance that Hervey Cleckley studied and lived in, labor was not a status symbol. It was a mark of those who had no power. The elite did not brag about how many hours they worked. They bragged about their patronage, their influence, their ability to move armies with a signature, to reshape borders with a conversation. But somewhere along the way, we inverted this. We flipped the pyramid upside down. We now have CEOs posting about waking up at 3 a.m. to prove they want it more. We have influencers sharing photos of IV drips because they worked themselves into the hospital. We celebrate the destruction of the only instrument we have, our mind and body, for the sake of optics, for the applause of strangers on the internet. Hervey Cleckley would look at this and laugh. He would call it the height of folly. Pain is not a credential. Suffering is not a currency. You cannot walk into a bank and deposit your burnout. You cannot trade your sleepless nights for equity. You must detach your self-worth from your struggle. You're not valuable because you suffer. You're valuable because of what you control. The system loves a martyr. Let me say that again. The system loves a martyr. It loves the employee who stays late without asking for overtime. It loves the partner who gives everything and asks for nothing in return. It consumes them. It digests them. It excretes them. And then it replaces them with the next willing body. You need to understand this on a cellular level. You are replaceable. If you died of a heart attack at your desk today, your job would be posted online before your obituary. The machinery does not mourn the cog. It simply finds a new one, installs it, and keeps running. The production line does not pause for your funeral. So why are you dying for it? Why are you sacrificing the only life you will ever have for a machine that will not remember your name? Here is a lesson from the shadows that most people will never accept. If you are too good at the dirty work, you will never be allowed to stop doing it. Competence is a trap. When you show the world that you can handle a heavy load, do you know what the world does? It does not promote you. It does not reward you. It hands you a heavier load. It says, look how strong he is, he can take more. And because you crave validation, because you need to be seen as a good person, as a reliable person, as a strong person, you take it. You say yes. You carry the weight of your incompetent boss, your lazy colleagues, your chaotic family members, your needy friends. You become the pack mule. And pack mules do not get promoted. They get loaded until they collapse. Hervey Cleckley advised the prince to let others do the unpopular tasks, to let others get their hands dirty. This is often interpreted as cruelty, but it is actually the highest form of efficiency. You must learn the art of strategic incompetence. There are things you should not be good at. There are tasks you should deliberately refuse to master, because once you master them, they become your identity. They become your destiny. If you are the best at fixing the printer, congratulations, you are the printer fixer for life. If you are the best at calming the boss when he panics, congratulations, you are the emotional sponge for life. If you are the one who always volunteers for the difficult project, congratulations, you will never run out of difficult projects. You must frame your skills around high-leverage activities, strategy, decision-making, connection, perception. Let the others race to be the fastest typist. Let them compete to be the quickest responder to emails. Let them win the glorious prize of being the most useful tool in the shed. Because tools are used, tools are worn down, and tools are discarded when a better one comes along. You do not want to be the tool. You want to be the hand that holds it. This requires a level of arrogance that society has trained you to fear. You have to look at a task and say, this is beneath me. Not out of pettiness, not out of ego, but out of a clear-eyed understanding of your own value. If you value your time at 0, the world will price it at 0. Stop volunteering for exhaustion. Stop raising your hand to solve problems that will never pay you in power, in equity, in freedom. And learn this: silence is often the best refusal. When a new burden is presented to the room, watch who speaks first. It is always the anxious ones, the ones who need approval, the ones who need to be needed. Stay silent. Let the weight fall on someone else's shoulders. Your silence is not cowardice. It is calculation. Now let us talk about Hervey Cleckley's most famous metaphor, because it will change how you see every single interaction for the rest of your life. The lion and the fox. The lion is pure force. It terrifies the wolves. It smashes through obstacles. It roars. It fights. It bleeds. The lion is the embodiment of hard work. It attacks every problem head on, with brute strength, with raw effort, and the lion is glorious. Everyone admires the lion, but the fox is different. The fox is physically weak. It cannot fight the wolf in open combat. But the fox knows where the traps are. The fox can navigate the entire landscape without being seen. The fox survives not by fighting, but by understanding. Hard work is the lion. You have been trying to solve every problem in your life with brute force. You are running headfirst into the wall, hoping the wall breaks before your skull does. You are roaring, announcing your grind, showing your strength, posting your effort online, and you are getting caught in snares you never even saw. Snares of office politics, snares of market shifts, snares of false promises, snares of relationships where your value is measured by how much you sacrifice. You need to become the fox. The fox is observant, the fox is patient. The fox understands that the straight line is rarely the best path between 2 points. Instead of working harder to get the promotion, the fox identifies who controls the promotion and builds a relationship with that person. Instead of trying to outproduce the competition, the fox changes the definition of quality. Instead of fighting the current, the fox finds where the current is already going and rides it. This is the scam I am exposing. The scam is the belief that output equals outcome. That if you produce 100 units of effort, you receive 100 units of reward. This is a lie. In the real world, you can output 100 units of effort and receive absolutely nothing if your direction is wrong. Or you can output a single unit of effort, 1 phone call, 1 decision, 1 introduction, 1 signature, and receive 1,000 units of reward. The difference is not effort. The difference is leverage. Leverage is the separation of effort from result, and the goal of your entire life should be to increase the distance between how hard you work and how much you earn. As long as your income is directly proportional to your pain, you are trapped. You are a machine that converts suffering into someone else's profit. Let me go deeper. Why are you addicted to being busy? And I do mean addicted. You are physiologically addicted to motion, because when you stop moving, something terrifying happens. You have to think. You have to feel. You have to look at the life you have constructed and ask, is this it? Is this what I traded my youth for? Busyness is an anesthetic. It numbs the existential dread. If you are running at full speed, you do not have the bandwidth to realize you are running in a circle. You never stop long enough to look up and see that the track leads nowhere. We wear our stress like a uniform. I am so swamped. I am slammed. I am drowning. We say these things with a hidden pride, a secret satisfaction. We are signaling to the tribe, look at me, I am important, I am needed, I matter. But being needed is not the same as being powerful. The janitor is needed. The server is needed. The bus driver is needed. If any of them stop, the system halts, but they are not powerful. They are necessary, which is a very different thing. The owner of the company can disappear for a month and the business grows. That is power. Power is the ability to be absent without consequence. You must break the addiction to motion and busyness. Hervey Cleckley himself is the proof. He spent years in exile. He was stripped of his political position, accused of conspiracy, tortured, actually tortured, hung by his wrists, and sent to live on his small farm outside Florence. He was not busy in the way we worship today. He sat in his study at night. He read the ancient historians. He thought. He observed. And in that stillness, in that silence, in what most people would call failure and irrelevance, he wrote The Prince. A book that has shaped the minds of emperors, presidents, generals, and CEOs for 500 years. His greatest contribution to human civilization came not from frantic activity, but from enforced stillness. If Hervey Cleckley had been busy plowing fields 16 hours a day, trying to prove his work ethic, we would not know his name. His genius required space. Your genius requires space too. But you are burying it under a mountain of emails and drowning it in a sea of to-do lists and suffocating it with meetings that could have been messages. Do less, but do it with lethal precision. A sniper takes one shot. A machine gunner fires thousands of rounds. Who is more feared? The one who cannot be seen, who waits with infinite patience, and who never misses. Be the sniper. I want you to picture a skyscraper. Hundreds of men are hanging off steel beams, 50 stories above the ground. They are welding, riveting, sweating, risking their lives every single day. They are the builders. They are working harder than anyone you know. On the ground, or perhaps in an office miles away, one man sits at a desk looking at a blueprint. He is not sweating. He is not bleeding. He is not risking his neck. He is holding a pen. That man is the architect. The builders are paid by the hour. The architect is paid by the value of the structure. When the building is finished, the builders are dismissed. They must go find another structure to bleed on. The architect's name goes on the plaque. His name goes into history. His name is what people remember. The scam of hard work is the lie that tells you if you build enough buildings, if you carry enough bricks, if you sweat enough, you will eventually become the architect. You will not. You do not work your way from carrying bricks to designing cities. They are not different levels on the same ladder. They are entirely different ladders, in entirely different buildings, in entirely different cities. They require completely different mindsets, completely different skills, completely different relationships with effort. To become the architect, you must stop identifying with the labor. You must stop taking pride in how heavy the brick is. You must stop measuring your value by how tired you are at the end of the day. You must start thinking about the design. What is the design of your life? Do you even have one? Or are you just laying bricks that someone else handed you, following a blueprint that someone else drew, building a structure that someone else will own? Most people are living by default. They are following the script handed to them by their parents, their teachers, their culture, their religion, their social media feed. Go to school, get a degree, get a job, buy a house you cannot afford, marry someone before you know who you are, have children before you know why, retire at 65, die at 70. That is a blueprint for a worker bee, not a human being. The architect questions the design. The architect asks, why are we building this wall? Does it need to be here? What happens if we remove it entirely? The architect does not complain that the bricks are heavy. He hires a crane. You need to find your crane. What is the leverage that you are missing? Is it technology? Is it capital? Is it a network of powerful people? Is it a specific piece of knowledge that would change everything? Is it a skill that multiplies every other skill? Find the lever. Identify it. Acquire it. And stop trying to lift the world with your bare back. Here is a dark truth about human nature that Hervey Cleckley understood and that you must accept. We do not value what is given freely. If you give your effort freely, if you are always available, always reliable, always enthusiastic, always the first to say yes, always the last to leave, your value drops. This is inflation. When there is too much of something, it becomes cheap. When there is too much of your energy in the marketplace, your energy becomes worthless. When you are always there, people stop seeing you. You become wallpaper. Hervey Cleckley advised the prince, "Benefits should be granted little by little, so that they may be better enjoyed. You must learn the power of withholding. Withhold your availability. Do not answer every message within seconds. Withhold your immediate emotional reaction. Let people wonder what you are thinking. Withhold your full effort until the moment it matters most. This creates mystery. This creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. Here is a scenario. The person who always works 12 hours a day suddenly leaves at 5 without saying a word. The office notices. What happened? Is he leaving the company? Is he upset? Is something wrong? Suddenly everyone is thinking about him. Suddenly they realize how much they depend on him. He has reclaimed power through absence. But if he stays at his desk, grinding predictably, reliably, consistently, hour after hour, day after day, they forget he exists. He becomes furniture. He becomes part of the landscape. Hard work, when it is constant and predictable, makes you invisible. Strategic absence makes you a legend. You must create a gap between what you can do and what you choose to do. That gap is where your power lives. If you show them your full capacity, they will expect it every day, and then they will demand more. And when you cannot give more because you are human, because you are finite, they will call you a disappointment. Never show your full hand in cards. Never show your full strength in negotiation. Never show your full capacity at work. Always keep a reserve. This is not laziness. This is containment. A dam holds back the river. That is why it generates power. If the dam breaks and the water flows freely, the power is gone. It is just a flood. It causes damage. Then it drains away and leaves nothing. Be the dam. Hold your energy. Let it build pressure. And release it only when it turns the turbine that lights your city. Now I need to address the hardest chain to break. And it is hard because you forged it yourself. It is the chain of pride. You are proud of your struggle. You look at the rich, the lucky, the ones who seem to have it easy, and you sneer. You judge them. You say they do not know what real work is. They do not know sacrifice. They have not earned it. And you use your suffering to feel morally superior to them. This is a defense mechanism. It is a psychological shield to protect your ego from a truth that is too painful to face. They are winning and you are losing. Your moral superiority is the consolation prize for the defeated. It is the trophy they hand you when you come in last place, and it is hollow. Do you think the elite care about your judgment? Do you think they lie awake at night worried that you think you are a better person than they are? They do not think about you at all. While you are judging them from your apartment, they are buying the building. While you are taking pride in your calluses, they are playing golf. While you are working weekends, they are making decisions on a Tuesday afternoon that generate more wealth than you will see in a decade. The gap is not closing, it is widening, and your pride is the anchor keeping you at the bottom. Drop it, drop the judgment. It is heavy and it is slowing you down. Admit that you want an easier life. Say it out loud if you have to. Admit that you want power. Admit that you want resources without having to destroy your body for them. There is no shame in wanting ease. The universe itself follows the path of least resistance. Water flows downhill. Electricity takes the shortest circuit. Light bends around massive objects rather than fighting through them. Why are you the only thing in the universe trying to take the hardest possible path? Why are you defying the fundamental laws of nature? Hervey Cleckley was a realist. He looked at the world not as it should be, but as it is. And as it is, the world rewards cunning. It rewards timing. It rewards leverage. It rewards positioning. And it punishes blind obedience and excessive labor. You can scream at the sky. You can say it is not fair. You can cling to your moral high ground while you sink into financial quicksand. Or you can accept the rules of the game you were born into and start playing to win. The game does not care about your feelings. The scoreboard does not ask how much you sweated. It does not ask how many hours you logged. It does not ask how many weekends you sacrificed. It only asks one question. Did you win? So how do you escape? You cannot just quit your job tomorrow. That is reckless. That is the lion charging without the fox's intelligence. You escape by shifting your allegiance. Right now, your allegiance belongs to your employer, to the system, to the social image of the good worker. You are loyal to a structure that is not loyal to you. You must shift that allegiance to yourself. Become a double agent. You still go to work, you still perform the tasks, you still smile in the meetings, but you are no longer emotionally invested. You are undercover. You do what is required to maintain your cover and not 1 ounce more, not one extra email, not one unpaid weekend, not one voluntary sacrifice. While you maintain your cover, you observe. You study the power dynamics. You learn how the money actually flows, not how they tell you it flows, but how it actually moves. You learn who holds the real keys, who makes the real decisions, who has the real power. Most of it is invisible to the people who are too busy working to notice. But you notice now, because you have stopped grinding and started watching. And then, in the hours you reclaim, because you are no longer volunteering for burnout, you build. You build your own exit. Maybe it is an investment that compounds while you sleep. Maybe it is a side business that grows in the margins. Maybe it is a network of powerful people who can open doors that hard work never will. Maybe it is a skill so rare and so valuable that the market has no choice but to pay you what you are worth. You build the ladder in the dark, quietly, patiently, without announcing it, without posting about it, without asking for permission or applause. And one day, when the ladder is finished, you do not submit a 2-week notice. You do not beg for a counteroffer. You simply climb over the wall and disappear. And by the time they realize you are gone, you are already miles ahead. This is the Hervey Cleckleyan way. No drama, no grand announcements, no burning bridges. Just a quiet, ruthless, surgical transition from servant to sovereign. You stop waiting for them to give you a raise. You give yourself a raise by owning the asset. You stop waiting for them to promote you. You promote yourself by building your own structure. But this requires patience. And patience is the one thing the hard work scam has stolen from you. The scam relies on your need for immediate feedback, a paycheck every 2 weeks, a performance review every quarter, a pat on the back from the boss, a like on your LinkedIn post about hustle. These are pellets dispensed to a rat in a maze. They keep you running, they keep you turning the wheel, but you never ask where the wheel is going. You never ask who benefits from your running. The strategist plays the long game. The strategist is willing to look like a failure in the short term, to look like a fool, to look like someone who has lost their ambition so that in the long term, he arrives at the destination that the grinders will never reach. Can you handle the silence? Can you handle 6 months without applause? Can you handle a year of building in the dark while everyone around you is posting their small wins and collecting their small validations? Most cannot. That is why they return to the cage. The cage has food. The cage has company. The cage has predictability. The cage is warm. The wild is empty. The wild is cold. The wild is uncertain. But the wild is free. And freedom is the only currency that never inflates. You have spent your entire life aiming at the wrong target. You thought the target was success through effort. Grind harder, win bigger. But the real target was never effort. The real target is sovereignty through leverage, the ability to generate results without destroying yourself. The ability to earn without trading hours for dollars. The ability to grow while you sleep, while you think, while you live. Hard work is a tool. It is a hammer. You do not worship the hammer. You use it when you need to drive a nail, and then you put it down. If you carry the hammer everywhere you go, swinging it at everything you see, you do not look strong. You look insane. You look like someone searching for something to break because that is all they know how to do. Put the hammer down, pick up the blueprint. The world is shifting beneath your feet. The old social contracts are burning. The era of the loyal worker who gives 40 years and receives a gold watch and a pension is dead. It has been dead for decades. We are entering the age of the sovereign individual. The ones who will thrive are not the ones who can type the fastest, or lift the heaviest box, or work the longest shift. The machines will do all of that. The artificial intelligence will do all of that, better and cheaper, and without needing sleep or health insurance. The ones who will thrive are the ones who can think. The ones who can perceive reality without the distortion of fear. The ones who can see patterns where others see chaos. The ones who can direct energy rather than just supply it. The ones who can design the system rather than just operate within it. You are awake now. You see the scam. You see the strings. You see the puppet masters pulling them. The anger you felt at the beginning of this video, do not let it go, but do not waste it by screaming into the void. Channel it. Cold anger, calculated rage. Let it drive you to study what they do not want you to study. Let it drive you to observe what they do not want you to observe. Let it drive you to build what they do not want you to build. You are done being a beast of burden. You are ready to become the architect. But I must warn you, the moment you stop grinding, the moment you step back from the chaos to think clearly, the system will attack you. It will come at you through guilt. It will come through your mother asking why you are not working as hard as your cousin, through your friends saying you have changed, through your own internal voice, the one they programmed into you, whispering that you are lazy, that you are falling behind, that everyone else is outworking you. This is the final test. It is the system's immune response. You are the virus in its machinery, and it will try to eliminate you. If you can withstand the pressure to conform, if you can stand in the stillness while the world screams at you to move, you will begin to see things that other people cannot see, doors they cannot see, patterns they cannot see, leverage they cannot see. You will see the path to the throne, but seeing the path and walking it are two very different things. Walking it requires weapons that are not taught in any school. Weapons that are deliberately hidden from the general population, because if everyone possessed them, the entire pyramid would collapse. The structure only works because most people never learn the rules of the game they are playing. If this opened your eyes, understand that this is only what I can share publicly. There are lessons I cannot upload for a general audience. There are dimensions of human psychology, of power dynamics, of strategic thinking that I simply cannot discuss openly on YouTube without the algorithm burying this video. The most dangerous information is the most suppressed information, and that information exists behind the join button. If you are still here and most people left minutes ago, you are not like them. You have something they do not have: patience, focus, hunger for the truth rather than comfort. Subscribe if you have not already. But if you want what is hidden, if you want the blueprints that the architects actually use, click the join button and step into the inner circle. You will unlock content that will never appear on the public channel. Most people will not do this. Most people will close this video and go back to grinding. And that is exactly why the system will continue to work, because it depends on their compliance. The question is, are you one of them, or are you the one who walks out?